Happy New Year to you and welcome to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 5th day of January. The year is 2026. My name is Daniel Wahome. It's a week into which, everyone's talking about good things, a busy session, but we'll be talking about sport. Part of the news that we are covering today, Land Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome is to visit the site of the collapsed building in South Sea. And this is where, at least 2 people are here dead. One body has been retrieved, and so we're going to get an update on that. Waking up to news of a fatal road accident in Naivasha and involving a bus and a 14-seater matatu. So we'll be getting more details around that. For a lot of the young people of the country, it's a back to school week. So I'm sure on the roads, wherever you are, you've seen a lot of yellow vehicles all moving around the country and making sure that young people get to their various schools. And so also a caution for all those, because there are those who are traveling to schools across the country, boarding where they have to board. So there's going to be a lot that is going to be expected of careful road use, responsible road use. That's another one. And also heading into this week, the placement for students into senior secondary school, grade 10, the first group of, those who ask for their applications to be reviewed and where the admissions are to be reviewed has been done. The second phase is going to start tomorrow. So there's a lot on the plate of the people who are working at the Ministry of Education, specifically the State Department for Basic Education, who've got to ensure that this placement is as smooth as possible. And as we see the last of the 844 class, getting into Form 4, how this transition is going to be. Part of one news cycle, plus whatever else is going to be coming up as it lands on the diary in our newsroom. We shall be keeping you updated on that. Time for me to introduce my sign language interpreter, Anne Wangeshi, bottom right of your screen. Well, let's actually talk about what's going to be on the program today. As the year came to a close, the year 2025 came to a close, the Kenyan men's and women's rollball teams were in the United Arab Emirates and specifically in Dubai for the Rollball World Cup, the 7th edition of that competition. Kenya went into the 7th edition of the Rollball World Cup as world champions. They had won the men's World Cup and the women's World Cup in the 6th edition. So it was, they went there as the defending champions, but came back with silver medals. So we're going to be having a conversation with members of the team and also one of their coaches. So women's captain Lydia Wangoi and her teammate Brenda Obote, Keith Kivuva and Victor Mutua, who are members of the men's rollball team, and Joseph Aluhala, who is the coach of the team Kenya rollball. So he was with the team. What are the lessons learned? 1 goal losses in both matches. It's how are they going to bounce back from that and give India a real run for their money. But also starting, last year, AFCON 2025, the 34th edition hosted by Morocco, played in the Northern Hemisphere winter. We've seen lots of rain in virtually every game. And right now, we're into the round of 16. Already 4 teams are through, 4 more matches to be played tonight and tomorrow night to determine the quarterfinalists of that competition. And to break it down and see the group phase that was played in 2025, I've got Tiras Wayaki. Tiras, good morning.
Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.
And good morning.
Yes. Well, actually, first of all, before we get into the knockout phase, and review it, let's talk about the group phase of this competition. And despite the fact that it was an intense one, 4 matches a day over 5 days, but looking at the teams that were there and those that had the hits and those that had the misses.
I'll start with the huge miss that kind of caught us all by surprise. Gabon, really, you can miss, but that kind of missing is just off. I'll call it a bit diabolical. They were very disappointing, especially when you look at the kind of run of form they've had over the last year or so. This is one team that really disappointed and wrecked Harambee Stars' hopes of going to the World Cup mid this year. They beat us in Gabon and they came here, beat us in a Park Nyayo Stadium. They were playing beautiful football. So you looked at them and thought, this team going to the Africa Cup of Nations, having missed out on a World Cup spot themselves just by a whisker, with Ivory Coast topping that group of theirs, they have a second chance here at AFCON to make amends for it. And you have high hopes for them. They go into AFCON and they disappoint. They played very well, but they can't finish the job. And in football, after you create those chances, you've got to execute them, and you execute them by scoring goals and forwarding, progressing rather from there. They just failed each and every time, at each and every hurdle. They play well. They lost narrowly in their open against Cameroon just by a single goal. They dominated that second half after Cameroon dominated them in the first half, and then they fell short. And that was pretty much their story. They even handed Mozambique victory, their first victory ever at the Africa Cup of Nations, and they finished last in their group. They went back home, and their government suspended them from international football or any competitions for that matter.
Let me just come into that.
And that's the big story from the group stages.
And okay, it's a very serious story because this is something that we've seen strange things happen before. And let me just be specific. Way back in 1974, Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of the Congo, made it to the World Cup. And this is after qualifying as Africa Cup Nations winners. So when they went in there, they came back with a trailer load of goals, having been conceded. They didn't score once. And so what happened is that when they went back to Kinshasa, Mobutu Sese Seko, what did he do? He put them inside. Now, think of Cote d'Ivoire, 2000. They got out at the knockout phase of the competition, and there was a military government in place then. What did they do? They rounded up all of these players and took them to a military camp in the guise that they were being protected from an angry public. But I think Andrew Conan Bedi went and said, we've got to teach them a little bit of patriotism. Cameroon, drama around the government, selecting a team, and you have another coach on the side selecting a team, but anyway, Cameroon, that one seems to work. But now we've got Gabon, disbanded by their acting sports minister, and the exclusion of Manga, a long-serving player such that he's even been nicknamed Paul Biya, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Big news, and you see, the choices have consequences. Now that Gabon have been suspended by their government from any sort of competition or any kind of football for that matter, their government has overstretched and they've taken the law into their own hands. FIFA wouldn't be happy with that. And the consequences of that could be, according to Article 15C of FIFA's third-party non-interference principle, it's group stages. So in the three East African traditional states of Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, it's only Kenya that has never gone beyond the group stages now. I wonder what you'll tell the Tanzanians next time you have banter with them online.
No, we have nothing. At the moment, we've got nothing to say.
Nothing to say?
No, only English.
Only English.
Only English. That's all we have at the moment.
Now, eat that English of yours, man, and take it. Let's see where it takes you. It won't take you to the round of 16. So the Tanzanians have done us proud, and they lost narrowly to Morocco, a goal to nothing. They've left the tournament with their heads held high. They played beautiful football through and through and consistent about it. So for me, that's the heat from the group stages. Mozambique, beautiful team. They've made the round of 16 as well for the first time ever. They've not only that, they've won a group stage game for the first time ever. They beat Gabon. And you have to be proud of them. It's not by fluke. They haven't chanced it. They've played superbly well. Just like Tanzania, there have been some revelations in this tournament so far. And Mozambique is one of them. Tanzania is another. And Mali, after they beat Tunisia in that penalty shootout. And there were 10 men. Remember, they got a red card in open play. So Mali, a bit of a revelation. I mean, they've been making the round of 16. They've been making quarterfinals in the Africa Cup of Nations. But beating Tunisia for them, that was a big one. I didn't see that coming. I had predicted that the game will go all the way to extra time penalties and then Tunisia would win. Yes, it did go all the way to extra time penalties, but Mali won.
Well, actually, let's start with that game because...
And that was on KBC radio when I said that. So
yes,
I come out on Channel 1 and say, my hands held up high. Mali, congratulations. Good luck to you. Tunisia, loads of work to do on yourselves.
Actually,
going to the World Cup in June this year.
Coaches who've taken a lot of, coaches take a lot of, hammering when you take a look at this tournament. But what is it that Sami Trabelsi, by the way, Sami Trabelsi, he's playing for that country. He's now the national team coach. He actually led Tunisia to automatic qualification for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. But here he is, taking full responsibility, and he's been sent off. And this was against 10-man Mali, and they were pushed to the edge, and they had to win. And Mali won 3-2 on post-match penalties.
It's not easy playing against 10 men, and that's the contradiction of it, because you're thinking, look, now it's time to slaughter these guys. They are a man down. What happens in that kind of Nicholas Jackson?
At that point comes to about 2.5, which is as many, just to mention, quite an impressive number. Average when it comes to this kind of competition. But let's talk about Senegal against Sudan, the first round of 16 game that was played. And the kind of, first of all, the fight that, Sudan put out, and then we also have got the conversation many Kenyans are not ready to have. Because the first thing is everyone thought TZs would go back home with a trailer load of goals. But they conceded only one.
Hard fought.
And it was from the tournament top scorer, Brahim Diaz.
Brahim Diaz, what a sensation. And Morocco was suffering.
Actually, he made history by being the first Moroccan being the first player to score 4 goals, 4 consecutive matches for Morocco at an Africa Cup of Nations.
He's been absolutely brilliant from day one, very consistent. But it shouldn't be not said that Morocco was suffering without the services of Unahi. Unahi had a terrific World Cup in 2022, and he's one of the reasons why Morocco made the semi-final, becoming the first African nation to ever do so. And he's out.
I can tell you the feeling because I witnessed it.
You witnessed it, yes.
I witnessed it
firsthand.
Firsthand, it was something different. It was something different.
Yes. Us guys witnessed it from here, and it was something different, something different. Yes, it was one of those moments you never forget in life. Pure gold, rock solid. Unahi knows how to penetrate through the midfield and create spaces where they seemingly do not exist. And he knows how to thread that ball and having created that gap, and all of a sudden, an even bigger gap is created, and you find yourself in Wonderland. All you have to do is pick a spot, place the ball, goal. So they were missing his services. For me, he's out injured. I saw him crying because he's out. That's the kind of commitment that he has, the kind of passion that he has. And he's one of the guys who've made it possible for Brahim Diaz. But then, obviously, Morocco found a way. It took them a lifetime, considering they're playing at home in front of their crowd, and you'd expect that they'd beat Tanzania 3-0 upwards. But no, Tanzania put on a solid performance as well. They stood up to them. And they even were flexible enough to play on the counter. So they defend fast and then hit you on the counter. It was so hard to penetrate that Tanzanian wall. But Morocco, that Brahim Diaz guy was expected to cross. A nice cut back in. But he managed to squeeze that ball between the goalkeeper and the post. There wasn't much of space, but he got it in. And the goalkeeper had sort of committed himself to this because he thought it's going to be a cross. Everyone thought it's going to be a cross. So,
Actually,
so Morocco won.
Hussein Masalanga
they're in trouble.
Hussein Masalanga was the best-rated Tanzanian player.
Yes. He's been a fantastic player in this particular tournament. But Brahim Diaz, that's like he's playing on another level. So he took the best Moroccan player in terms of goal scoring at AFCON in history to score that goal for Morocco. But Morocco are not really playing well. Going into this tournament, for me, they were the first among equals where favorites are concerned. There's a number of them, heavyweights, whom you can safely say this look like sure winners for this particular tournament, although there are no favorites in today's football. But if you're to talk of favorites, you'd have to start with Morocco because they're playing at home. They have conquered the world at almost all age groups. Their women's football is doing well. Their futsal is doing well. I mean, their boys are fresh from winning the FIFA World Cup under 20. Morocco itself is fresh from winning the Arab Cup just before this AFCON kicked off. And a few months earlier, they won CHAN with their Morocco B, their B side.
And I'm just
and none of those players is at AFCON.
And to make it even crazier, they're not using one coach. Walid Regragui
yes, it's for the senior men's side.
Senior men's coach.
The A team. Yes. That just tells you the kind of investment that has gone into Morocco. That's why I placed them first among equals. And especially the fact that the 12th man is on their side. They're playing at home. But then I have not seen that solid side in Morocco that I've seen in, for example, Cameroon, whom they meet next. So Morocco, for me, need to polish up. It's really not looking good for them.
Let's talk about Al-Rakia of Tanzania. You know, having to step up, because if you talk to anyone, everything around the Tanzanian midfield has been about Faisal Salum, Fei Toto. But how would Tiza going into the future try and have a team not taking away from his brilliance? I mean, Fei Toto also scored one brilliant goal, was man of the match in there. But the question everyone's asking is, what happens if the team is not built around him?
Tanzania, if you've been following African football in the lower, East African football in the lower age groups, like the under-20s and the under-18s, but specifically, let's say the under-20s, and the 18s are growing up into the under-20s. Look at their performances. Very beautiful and confident football. And they made it to the AFCON under-20. When you look at them, and Kenya is doing quite well in those age groups, but we are still not at par with them. And even Uganda, they are a step forward than we are. There is talent coming up. So for me, when I look at it, and I look at it objectively and even critically, I think there's life beyond Fei Toto for Tanzania. Of course, he's been this huge personality, huge figure for Tanzanian football, and we've seen it at this AFCON. But there's a way forward for Tanzania. I'm not really worried about them. In fact, they impressed me. They gave more than I expected of them at this AFCON. Even though how they qualified is still, it's confusing people. They only qualified with 2 points. And they got into the round of 16 as one of the 4 best losers. 2 points.
It was all about, it was about their goal difference. I mean,
yes.
Think of Angola, who eliminated. And I think Comoro. So, I mean, it just worked well for them.
Yes. So there's a bit of a fluke there, but they worked for that fluke. I mean, they weren't handed over the fluke on a silver platter. So for me, Tanzania going forward, I'm very impressed. I'm not worried about them. Even Uganda, I'm not worried about. It's just that star boy who needs to be brought back down to earth. They're good to go. My concern with East African football is Kenya.
A lot of concerns coming in from very many, people, and about how this team should be. Let's also talk about Cameroon playing against South Africa. South Africa coming into this tournament, and South Africa always have a story to tell. The number of players that they provide to national teams across Africa, as I think in Cote d'Ivoire they had 41 or 42 players contributed. That's not just Bafana, but other participating countries. Technically, the South African League can provide 2 squads. But overall, Cameroon, what is it that has made them click and made us forget all the drama they gave us in December when there was the Samuel Eto'o faction and another faction. But it came to the naming of the squad.
And the soap opera that they gave us at the World Cup as well, which you attended in 2022. And I think you saw firsthand the kind of politics that was playing out.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
Rigobert Song, we are being told, is the coach, but the coach was Sebastian Minye.
Yes, and Samuel Eto'o.
And Samuel Eto'o. Samuel Eto'o was first coach.
Who's the federation president and a former player for Cameroon. I think finally they said, look, let's get this out the way and behave like grown-ups. Let's sort this thing out once and for all. And if you look at the shadows, you'll see Roger Milla, who's one of the greats of Cameroon, Italian 90. He led Cameroon to a quarter-final at the World Cup. And you'll also see Rigobert Song himself, who, even though he had a tumultuous stint with the team as head coach, is still a very iconic figure in Cameroonian football. Won the Africa Cup of Nations in the year 2000 with them, in the year 2002, and he was captain. So you look at him...
Is there an African player who's been to more World Cups than Samuel Eto'o? I doubt. No.
Rigobert Song.
It's Rigobert Song. Played in 94, 98, 2002. I think.
And 2006, I think, yeah. So he's this icon in Cameroon, just like Roger Milla. And if you look at the shadows, you'll see them seated there in each and every Cameroon game, pretty much around the same area that Samuel Eto'o sits. They're the elders, and I think they've sat Samuel Eto'o down and told him, just calm down. Just calm down, and let's put our country first, and let's do something special. We're not going to the World Cup. We've missed out on qualification, and that's a massive failure by our standards. Here is AFCON. It's throwing us a lifeline. The only way we can make amends for the mess that has been with our team is by winning this AFCON. And we've won nothing from all these dramas. So we'll come back to the drama if we have to, but first things first, priorities. And that's what has got all of us off guard. Because what we were thinking is this team, man, again. And we've been right about them in the past.
Actually,
the mess.
The press conference was bizarre.
Off-field, coming on field.
Remember the press conference after the opening game? I said I would like to dedicate this win to the president of the country, the president of the federation.
That's the Cameroon head coach speaking.
That was crazy.
And he's Cameroon Coach of the Year 2024. He doesn't have that much of as a CV when you look at him. But the guy has done a tremendous job. They're all playing under a lot of pressure, intense. If you make a mistake, the guy is on your case like mad. And that's what frightens me about them. I would not want to be in that kind of situation. Because to err is human. At some point, you might just fumble. But although you shouldn't necessarily stumble as a result, pick yourselves up. That's one of the things. There's tension. The tension has not gone. It hasn't left Cameroon at all. That tension is still there. If you saw Eto'o's celebration yesterday, the camera zoomed in on him.
Oh, yeah.
The guy, he breathed out, he exhaled. It tells you his blood pressure is operating on borderline high blood pressure, or perhaps even he's on high blood pressure rates. I mean, the guy he's under intense pressure. He's trying to live up to expectation. He was great on the field. Now, off the field as president of the Cameroonian Football Federation, can he be able to hit those lofty heights that he did as a player? So there's a lot of tension in this camp. But for me, they have been one of the best teams that I've seen so far in this tournament. I would say Algeria, the most complete team I've seen, even though I expect them to lose to DRC in the round of 16. I could be wrong. But Cameroon are right up there with them. No doubt about it.
Well, so already those are the matches that are done in the Africa Cup of Nations. And we've got two quarterfinals that have been confirmed. Mali against Senegal, Cameroon against Morocco. Just quickly, Mali-Senegal, which way?
Mali-Senegal, I expect Senegal to win, but it won't be easy. We've seen now the wins are coming through a lot of hard work. And it's one goal wins, so you win like 2-1. even when you win like 3-1, you'll have really fought for it. So with Koulibaly coming back from suspension, I expect to see a more stable Senegalese side. I expect to see Nicholas Jackson rising to the occasion, or you just get him off the field. I expect to see Sadio Mane stop playing like Starboy of Uganda and play like Sadio Mane. So it won't be easy. I expect Senegal to win, though.
Morocco, Cameroon?
Cameroon. Simply because Morocco have not been stable in this particular tournament. They have fantastic players who can turn a game on its head anytime, like they did last night. But Cameroon are solid, man.
All right, so those are the quarterfinals. Those are to be played on Friday night. That's on the 9th. So let's look at the 4 remaining matches in the round of 16. Egypt are playing against Benin, and that is tonight at 7 p.m. Nigeria play against Mozambique. Egypt versus Benin. Genatro takes over the Benin side, almost qualifies them for the World Cup, has them through to they're in the AFCON, and here they are pushing, all opponents to the edge. But how well can they play against Egypt, who are under Hossam Hassan?
They can play very well, Benin. It goes without saying. And you've more or less alluded to that. You look at them, they fell at the last and final hurdle of World Cup qualification. Otherwise, they were going to the World Cup. In fact, going into that particular last group game, they were top of the group. So in theory, they should have won, but no, they lost to Nigeria away in Nigeria, and that was the end of their World Cup story. South Africa qualified automatically. Nigeria went to the playoffs, lost. After winning one playoff match, they lost to DRC in the second playoff match. Penalties. So for me, Benin are brilliant, but now they're up against a very hungry side, a side that has improved game per game in this particular tournament. They were not impressive in their first game, but they still got the result. Mamouche, man. Hey, that goal. In Africa, only those North Africans can score those kind of goals. And we saw last night with Morocco. A very tight space, but my goodness, what he'll do with it. Goal. Golden goal. Brilliant. And I'll tell you, it wouldn't be easy. Hossam Hassan has done a lovely job. He's a brilliant guy. You saw in Egypt's last group game, he played an entirely different squad from what had played the first 2 games. And he did not lose. He's an iconic figure. We were talking of iconic Cameroonian players like Roger Milla and Rigobert Song. He's the most iconic Egyptian player to date. But Mo Salah is competing with that. In terms of goal scoring, the guy to this day holds the record for Egypt goals for the national
the number of
team.
caps, first Egyptian player to do 150 caps. There's actually a plaque there was a plaque at what was the Egyptian FA offices. There was a fire that destroyed it, but yes, Hossam Hassan is an icon.
He doesn't have that much experience as a coach, but again, he's qualified them automatically to this year's World Cup. So I see Egypt winning. It's going to be a huge struggle, but I see them win.
Nigeria against Mozambique. And in the case of Mozambique, you've got to take a look at how they have played throughout this tournament. And I think the one player from Mozambique who stood out for me is their goalkeeper.
Yes, absolutely outstanding. He gave Gabon a proper disappointment. He has stood in between those posts solidly for the team. And, I mean, facing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and when Aubameyang is really desperate to score a goal, and you reduce him to, I think, just 1 goal, that's a huge achievement. And then, obviously, Gabon scored another goal, but it was too little, too late. Mozambique managed to beat Gabon 3-2. And a lot of credit goes to the Mozambican goalkeeper.
He has a name Kenyans would not laugh. I mean, it would make Kenyans laugh. Yeah. Mbaba.
But going into their next game, which is against Nigeria in the round of 16. I don't fancy their chances because Nigeria have missed out on World Cup qualification. That's a huge disappointment by their standards. And they're going all out for AFCON, just like Cameroon. So I think Nigeria are going to be...
The Eric Shell effect on Nigeria, because, I mean, since he took over the team, even towards World Cup qualification, there was something different that came in. And this is a person who's probably doing his second major tournament.
Yes. Remember how well he did with Mali at the last AFCON. He brought out the best in them. And now he was given Nigeria, and he had to transition the team from defensive counter-attacking football, which they had been introduced to, and it's not their style. They're all out in character, in real life, day-to-day life, and even in their football, they express themselves. And so Eric Shell had to take this team and turn it around. A team in transition, they came to Chan here in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. Eric Shell was in charge, and they performed dismally. There was a lot of talk of Eric Shell should be sacked. I stood with him because I've seen what he can do, having seen what he did with Mali, who play similar football to Nigeria. Traditionally, West African football, fast, furious. Even though Mali are playing defensive counter-attacking football in this tournament, when they go forward, it's fast and furious. So for me, I would say Shell has done a tremendous job, and he continues to do so with Niger. I'm still standing with him, as I did during Chan, even when they lost 4-0 to Sudan, who are minnows to Niger. He's done a terrific job. 2-3 weeks ago, I told you on radio, this will be the tournament when Niger become a world-class team again under Eric Shell. Even though they made the AFCON final in 2023, which was played in 2024, they were not themselves, and that's why they lost to Ivory Coast. They were playing defensive counter-attacking football. It's time for Niger to play that attacking football and produce the results. So they'll beat Mozambique, I think.
Algeria versus DR Congo.
The most controversial statement from me today will be that one, because Algeria are the favorites. The most complete side I've seen in this tournament. They have everything. But they're kind of depending a bit too much on Mahrez, Riyad Mahrez.
Yes, Riyad Mahrez has got 3 goals in the tournament so far.
If you can contain him, which DRC can, they have the sort of wing-backs who can do that.
Think of one
Then you
Bissaka.
can win. then you can win against a mighty Algerian side who won the AFCON in 2019. They haven't been that good since at the AFCON level, but DRC have come of age, and they're just one game away from World Cup qualification. They've made the continental playoffs, and I look at them as favorites to go to the World Cup. So for me, when you look at them, it's not an easy game, but they're so solid, DRC. And going forward, they're brave. I mean, they're so brilliant. These guys managed to come from behind and beat Nigeria in a World Cup qualifier. They were stretched to extra time penalties, and they beat Nigeria in those penalties. And there were many penalties, boom, 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 sudden death. So they have longevity as well. And they've got Sébastien Desabre in charge of them, a wonderful coach. I have to be very brave to say that they'll beat DRC, or I'm just daft. But that they'll beat Algeria.
And you see,
that DRC will beat Algeria,
actually,
or I'm just daft, and I'm going with it.
Actually, it's very interesting. Sébastien Desabre went to Uganda, but there is a story of Sébastien Desabre having worked with some of these players in the DRC side at under 20 level.
Yes.
And at under 23 level. He's been for a very long time known as a development coach.
And you saw how well he did with UG. In fact, at some point, they were this close to qualifying to the World Cup.
That's normal for Uganda.
It never used to be normal.
No, that's normal. They always get this close.
Yeah, it never used to be normal.
This close.
Think about it. It never
This
used
close.
to be normal.
And if they're in the same group as Kenya, even the AFCON, this close.
And he'll take locally based players and do well with them. And you mentioned South Africa doing well with locally based players. We're also seeing Tanzania doing very, very well with locally based players. So this guy, he's got a gift. I think he's the current Javier Renard. You know Javier Renard won
Yes.
the Africa Cup of Nations with Zambia in 2012. and with Ivory Coast in 2015. So for me, this guy is the real deal. He's the real shebang. And good luck to DRC. Good luck to Algeria as well. But I think I'm going to be daft enough to say that DRC will beat Algeria.
That is...
But don't quote me and don't tell anyone.
I won't.
Yeah, good.
I won't. Especially the person watching. I won't tell them. Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso. Two countries, neighboring countries, basically the same group of people. But look at Côte d'Ivoire coming in as defending champions, giving a different account of themselves. Burkina Faso, the Stallions have got this story of getting into a tournament, and if they decide to cause upsets, they just do it. Almost upset Nigeria 2013
final.
In the final.
I know. And this team were in the same group with them in the Africa Cup of Nations in 2004, if you remember.
Yes.
And we beat them 3-1. We beat them, even guys who don't score for Harambe scored on that day. But they were developing, and they've grown since. They've become something that you can't really live with. They're just, you can't put up with them. They're a strong side. And beautiful football. Again, finishing is a bit of a problem for them. Ivory Coast also finishing a bit of a problem for them. They're relying on a winger called Ahmad. Have you heard of him? He plays
Ahmad,
for
yes.
Manchester United. Yeah, a very young guy. He's not disappointed so far, but he got carried away after scoring against Cameroon and went to the crowd and started doing that. Was unnecessary. You should have just kept your focus, because shortly after that, Cameroon equalized. So don't get carried away. Stay focused. And don't underestimate Burkina Faso. So that attitude Ahmad had against Cameroon, you should just, after scoring that goal, you should just shelve it aside and focus. Ivory Coast have been very impressive. They were not impressive in their first game, but they grew from there, just like Egypt. And they've become something that is just sensational. Because you don't draw with this current Cameroon side. You lose to them. They managed to draw with them. In fact, Cameroon are the ones who came from behind. And it was a struggle. They are strong. They have a fantastic coach who won AFCON in 10 days. Remember, he just taken the job after his predecessor was shown the door.
Oh, the late,
yeah,
the coach passed away.
passed on during AFCON this year. I mean, this particular AFCON, 2025, 2026.
It was December.
It was in December. Our condolences to him and all those whom he coached, and of course his family. Beautiful coach who understood African football, but it just didn't work out for him with Ivory Coast at the last AFCON. Anyway, the team that he built still went on to win AFCON. So there's a silver lining out of that for him. Ivory Coast, I think, are going to carry the day into the quarterfinal.
Well, so there you've had it. So Egypt, Nigeria, DR Congo, and Côte d'Ivoire from Tiras Wayaki.
I told you not to tell anyone that I said DRC will win against Algeria. Wahome can't keep secrets.
Listen,
2026, new year, learn to keep secrets.
Okay, especially on live TV. Okay, now let's talk about something. Goals in this competition. 87 goals, an average of 2.5, which is usually, which is a bit high for an AFCON. But the story has been, no side has been absolutely hammered. That's the oddity of this tournament.
Well, Sudan were absolutely hammered by Algeria in the group stages. And score sheet-wise, they were hammered by Senegal. So, yes,
but let's take a look at,
but generally speaking,
we're not seeing the 5-0 or 4-0.
Yes.
Teams conceding 4-5.
Yes. It's close shaves. And now that they've got to the round of 16, it's even got closer and closer and closer. So you're winning by a margin of 1 goal. If you're fortunate, you'll win by a margin of 2 goals. But my goodness, you'll have had to work your socks off for it. It's tight. But then again, it's the missed chances for me. That's where the problem is. Teams have missed so many chances that would have led to those 4-0 victories that you're talking of. Then someone else might argue and say, no, we're almost at par. They are no longer favorites in football. We've come of age as a continent football-wise and joined the rest of the world. We are really, really good. So it's tight. Either way, you have your argument, you have your point.
The other thing is the Africa Cup of Nations. The CAF Executive Committee proposed that it goes to a 4-year cycle. But, I mean, there are those who love it, there are those who don't love it. But there's something coming out, and this is from the coaches and from players within Africa. The whole idea is just, I won't even talk about the economics or anything of it, but the culture.
Please do, actually, if we have time. I'm one of those who fell in love with it at first sight, and then you talked me out of it, and I accepted. It really doesn't make sense. It's going to kill AFCON. And even economic-wise, because you told me CAF makes most of the bulk of its money from Africa Cup of Nations through TV rights. Again, that will also mean if you spread that to 4 years, this gap of 2 years that you are making a kill financially is going to be empty for you. So empty coffers. And we need to make money out of football so that even players, like we are seeing from this AFCON, and teams, respectively, can make more money out of it. And the money has gone up in the prize money.
Yes.
So for all participating nations, you get your fair chunk of money. And the better you do, the more you earn. Just as was the case with Chan last year. Now, what does that mean if you have AFCON once in every 4 years? It poses a threat because you're not making revenue as you should in that 2-year gap that you're used to. So, no, I told you I got...
You converted? I
converted, born again, into your way of thinking, and I accept.
All right.
2 years.
Tiras Wayaki,
for AFCON.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you in a week, because the quarterfinals are on Friday and Saturday, and that's the 9th and the 10th. The semifinals will be played on Wednesday, the 14th. So look out for that. So we'll be having those conversations, and then after that, third place on the 17th, the final on the 18th. Thank you very much, Tiras. So we take a break now, and when we come back, we shall be talking to a Kenyan team that brought home silver medals from the Roll Ball World Cup. So they'll be joining us on set. After this break, our sign language interpreter has been Anne Wangeshi.
I've been learning things about you that I wouldn't have imagined. It wouldn't surprise me if I found out something else.
I need to know the truth. Was that the reason? Was it because you found out that there had been something between Marcelo and my mother?
Do you really think your mother would be capable of doing that?
He knows about her. Ricardo Marquez already knows that Letty is his daughter.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Mbona unatoa bandage?
Madhiano ananikanta didi the next minute.
The two of you get out.
Tupitie kesho usi. Unajua nafaa niende nishughulikie mokoro wangu.
Wapi failure number 1?
Amesema hataki.
Malipo ni mazuri.
Mbona unakaa uko deep in thoughts?
Ni historia ya daddy inanipatia stress.
Imekuwa too late.
Twende, you are a man.
Ulifikiria juu ya ofa yangu?
Mimi sioni nikipiga hii mboka.
Mahali hii imetoka kuna nyingi sana.
Kama
Wananiita gundu wakita.
Hi Kenyans, I'm Frida Boke from Migori County. Yeah, mimi nilisoma Machakos. Nimemaliza this year exams. Nimejiunga na timu ya KCB. Mimi venye nilijiunga na timu ya Kwandanze. First nilifika huko kama sikuwa najua kucheza, nikatrainiwa na coach Kigwari, nikajua volleyball from form 1 up to form 4. Then tulikuwa na timu kali, tulikuwa tunapatana East Africa na nationals ambaye ni Kesogon. Yeah, wote tulikuwa best, tulikuwa tulikuwa tunapelekeshana ile sana hard. Nilikuwa kama assistant captain. Nilikuwa nawaambia tu tukue na moral na kila kitu inawezekana as long as tunaomba kila kitu iko best. Nikiwa shule, first of all nilikuwa weekends hiyo Saturday na tunamkia morning run Sunday, tulikuwa tunaenda training, then school day tulikuwa tunaenda class kama wanafunzi wengine, but games time tuko uwanja na hakuna kuharibu time ya coach. Coach ndivyo amesema, sasa tunafanya venye amesema. Masomo ilisha na kenye nilikuwa natarajia si yenye nilipata, but nilijaribu na nilishukuru Mungu na grade yenye nilipata. Before nimaliza exam yangu, nilimaliza nikakuja KCB, nilitrain as 1 week na wao. Then the other week, second week, tukaenda tournament. Nilicheza, I was the best setter. Na I wish, naomba Mungu sana niinuke, nikuwe level ingine different. Kwa maisha yangu mimi na hope nicheze outside, but kitu ya kwanza unaanzianga nyumbani ukisonga.
My name is Edith Wisa, the team captain for KCB Women Volleyball team. The young ones are gelling on well. KCB is a very good team, welcoming, so it's an easy thing for them to put up with the other players. And most of the players, they're their former schoolmates, so it's not a big deal for them to gel. So far, so good. They are doing well and they are in high spirits, ready to fight for their slots in the team.
Kwa Wakenya, Kenya naweza waambia mniombee sana, tuombeane, kila kitu itakuwa best. Asante, kila la heri. Thank you.
And welcome back to Sports Check. On this Monday morning, it is the 5th day of January. The year is 2026. Our sign language interpreter this hour is going to be Susan Thiku. Well, just before we get into our second conversation, just a general look at what's happening in the news. We know it's a day of getting back to school. That's number one. So a lot that we shall be talking about. And keeping up with as that happens. Placement for the senior secondary school, second phase of reviews coming up, especially for the pathways and schools where the students expect to be admitted. That's another one that we'll be taking a look at. And also, there is the building that collapsed in South Sea, where Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome is expected to visit the site of the collapsed building, and we shall be getting a briefing on that. So that's part of our news cycle. So let's get into our next conversation. And when we talk about one sport where Kenya has been a world champion, and this is not an individual sport, it is in a team sport, we've got to talk about rollerball. The Kenyan women making history a decade ago, gone on to win that trophy again. Well, they went into Dubai in December, and this was as defending champions. The men's and women's all champions in the 7th edition of the Rollerball World Cup. Rollerball, think of a combination of handball, basketball on roller skates. That's all. That's what we would, that is how I would simply summarize that game. And Kenya, they won 2 silver medals, and there are 4 medals right here on this table with me. And who are some of those representing the teams that won the silver medals? And on my extreme right, we've got the captain of the women's team. They lost by 3-2 to India in the final. And Lydia Ongoi, congratulations. Happy New Year and welcome.
Happy New Year.
And on my immediate right, I have got Victor Mutua. He's a member of the men's team. They lost 11-10 to India in the final. Congratulations on the silver medal.
Thank you.
Yes, and a Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year too.
Yes. Keith. No, this is Keith here. But anyway. Anyway. You just swapped seats and you thought I wouldn't notice. And you're not even twins. This is Keith. Now, Victor. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year too.
Well, use the mic just close so that at least it can be very audible. He was in the men's team. He was playing at the World Cup, and also we have got Brenda Obote. And across the studio, we have got Joseph Aluhala. Very good morning to you, Joseph.
Good morning.
Yes, and he is a person who knows roll ball for and its growth over the last 13 years in this country. Joseph Aluhala still operates as a technical bench person, but still sees playing the game as a big thing. And Joseph, let me just start with you, and you could tell us, what you have seen in the last 13 years of roll ball being in Kenya, and Kenya eventually being crowned world champions.
So I'm Joseph Aluhala, and I would say it's been an interesting journey. First of all, I thank God that I've been privileged to be part of this roll ball since it began in Kenya in 2010 December, and I've been privileged also to play the 7 roll ball World Cups that have been played. So roll ball is played every 2 years. The World Cup is played every 2 years, and I think for me, I would say as the longest playing player that it's been a journey. I've seen growth, like for the men, the way you call us world champions. I think it's been many years of growth. Roll ball is very competitive because there are many nations with greater infrastructure than what we have. They have very good fields. They are very good on skates. You will find that people do skating from when they are very young. So just seeing Kenya on the map in this sport, I think it's not something to take easy. I would say that there's a lot of work being done in the background. There's a lot of passion among the youth, among the young people for skating, for this sport. It's a combination of handball, basketball, and roller skating. So you can imagine how to be able to handle all those 3 aspects. And I think I would say I've seen great growth. Every year when we go for the World Cup, I've seen greater players, upcoming players, very good on skates, very good on balance. Roll ball is about 4 things. So there is balance, there is accuracy, there is teamwork, and there is speed. So you have to work on those aspects, and I think I'm happy with where we are. And I'm happy that even the game is growing among the young generation. Now it is in schools, we can see it being played. So I could say the future is bright for us in the roll ball fraternity, and we are happy with the progress.
Well, actually, let me just stick with you for a moment, because Kenya has hosted a roll ball World Cup. Yes. That was, I think, must have been about 11, 12 years ago.
In 2013.
2013, yes.
Yes.
What was that experience of you, playing at that high level for the first time? And then 2 years later, we're seeing the women's team win the World Cup. I think that I still remember that trophy. It was well put in a glass case, because at least I know where it was for about a month. So I was seeing it every day, literally every day. But what was that moment?
I think participating in the second Roll Ball World Cup in 2013 was really, it's something we'll never forget, because it was hosted at Kasarani here in Kenya. And that time I would say the sport was very new. It was a second World Cup. The teams, I think we didn't even have 16 teams. It was actually about 16 teams that time. So for me, it was just a very, very new experience. Most of the skaters that participated in that World Cup were just speed skaters, people who would skate at Aga Khan Walk here at the skate park. And for us, it was exciting just to try out something new, to try out something very exciting, playing the ball on skates and shooting it in a goalpost. I think it was amazing, and I really thank the government that they accepted to host it at that time. And also, for us, I think that propelled Kenya to really work hard to grow it here locally. So whatever you see now is just from that experience of us allowing the game to come to us that early. So we've grown with the game. That's something that we really appreciate. And that time, I remember the ladies, it was their first time participating in the World Cup. So for them, they have participated in 6 World Cups, Roll Ball World Cups, not 7 like the men. Men, we participated in the first one in 2011 in India, but ladies started their first one in 2013 here in Kenya. So that time we had very many ladies who had not much of an idea of the game, but right now you could say the stakes are high. Getting into the Kenyan team, I think, is something you really have to work hard, because there are many teams, there are many players across the country. So just getting to be able to be selected among the 12 who make it to represent the country is something that you really have to work hard for. And that is good progress for us. That is growth. That is what we want to see more and more.
Well, you've heard from Joseph Aluhala. I mean, he has been the longest serving roll ball player, and, making sure that the game also does get downstream such that there is a future, so that, nostalgia should not be the story of what we will be talking about. But let me now go to 2 of the women's team members. Let me just take you through the full Team Kenya membership. Those who represented the country: Sharon Emali, Brenda Obote is here, and Brenda, you'll be sharing a mic with Victor, so look out for that. We've got Lucy Achieng, Angela Kithenji, Judith Rop, the vice captain, Veronica Satya, we've got Jacinta Mwangi, Mariam Bewa, Chumbana Kiza, Shamim Omar. Actually, I think Shamim was there before you left, right? Before you left for Dubai with Bernard Okumu. So, and also we've got your goalkeeper, yeah, right? Yeah. And the captain, Lydia Ongo, is here, and Cynthia. Lydia, you go into Dubai with one variant of making history. Kenya has previously won 3 World Cups. At that point, they were the most successful team in the world. What was that pressure that you carried? 3 global trophies. I mean, 3 World Cups won.
Yeah.
India at that point had 2.
Yes. The pressure was very high, the pressure to perform, the pressure to bring back the cup, because it is usually easier to win a cup than to defend it. So the pressure on the players and the coaches and the officials ilikuwa juu sana to perform. Yeah.
And one of the other things that I would like you to put out is the difference in our playing surfaces. When I look at what roll ball does, you're playing it on concrete, on tarmac.
Yeah.
Occasionally, you'll be playing on wood, but you go out there and the Global Federation says, this is the kind of surface we want. What's the adaptations that you have to make at that level?
First of all, roll ball is an indoor sport, so you play indoor on wood. And here in Kenya, we play on rough tarmac, not just tarmac, but very rough tarmac. And I remember like this team that was preparing for the 7th Roll Ball World Cup, we didn't have time. We were not given an opportunity to train indoor whatsoever. Even for that, you are saying occasionally didn't happen. So, and to play indoor and outdoor, it requires different type of tires, different adaptability. So for this team, we trained at Gate 4 parking lot where it's very rough. So we had outdoor tires, outdoor skating style, outdoor playing. But now here we are in Dubai. We have landed. We have a field, very smooth, extremely smooth surface. And wooden surface that is very smooth. Only we just thank God that we got there just a day. We had training time to train before we were allowed to train before we played our first game. And if there are records of us that during that training, you would really pity us because we kept on falling. Every minute, every second, it was a fall. Every minute was a fall. And even the other teams that were surrounding us, those that were done with training or were waiting for their training time, they were really wondering how we will play. Because they were actually at some point laughing at us like, hey, you guys, what are you doing?
Okay, so what was this thing about falling all the time?
We are not used to smooth surface.
Okay, so your wheels Imewekwa grip pale Kasarani gate 4.
Yeah, imeraruka proper. You know, outdoor iko na friction iko, but not something very smooth. Unaenda ukiendanga.
So you had not picked the right wheels for that?
It's not even about the right wheels. It's not being used to the surface. You need to train indoor to play indoor, but as we are training outdoor. So for example, kama mimi, if they brought this World Cup outdoor, we would show them dust. Sisi tunajua breaks za outdoor.
Si mnachezanga kwa dust, hebu angalia.
Si ndio hiyo, unaona? Hatuanguki, unaona? Sisi tuko sawa. Sasa wameweka goalkeeper indoor. Amezoea ki stretch once inasimama, sasa inaenda ikiendanga. Sasa atafanya nini to stop?
Shamimu, I hope you are okay. But Brenda, just take us through, you can hand the mic over to her. Brenda, take us through the group phase of the competition.
On the group phase of the competition, our first game we played against Argentina. Yeah, it was not a very tough match, as we can see from the goals. How many goals did we score on that match? I think around 19 goals. Yeah, it was not a tough match. So
na bado mlikuwa mna slide?
Bado tulikuwa tuna slide. Hatujazoea hii kitu. Yeah, we are not used to the smooth surface. Now it is our first game. Yeah, many people are not used to the wheels. We kept on falling, but again, we have the game. Yeah, we are champions. Now we have to play like champions. Yeah, we went hard. We gave it our all. We got a 19-0 win against Argentina. Yeah, and then our second match, I think we played against... No, our second match, we played against Egypt. Yeah, Egypt. Yeah. Well-known Egypt are good players, and they train really hard. And now that they are trained for Kenya, because we are champions,
and they have wooden surfaces.
Yeah, they have wooden surfaces. They have an indoor arena. Yeah, so it was a tough match. First, in the first half, there were 2 goals ahead of us. We were 0. And then, kidogo, we adapted, tukafunga. And then the game ended at 4-2. Yeah, giving us a qualification to the semis. Yeah.
I mean, the semis, and you can, Lydia and Brenda, you could just give us the outlook for that competition. Captain can go. No, let her go first, and then you as the captain, utafunga.
Sawa.
Okay. For the semis, we played semis against Sri Lanka ladies. Yeah, Sri Lanka ladies are good. Because for a team to make it to the semis, you have to be good. Yeah, because the competition was very tough. So for the semis, I think our game is good because in a semis match, we expect a very tough competition, but we managed to get around 12 goals against Sri Lanka. Yeah. 12-1 against Sri Lanka. It was a good match. Many of us got scores, and we were happy. We qualified to the finals. Our coaches were very happy, everyone. Kenya had a good celebration. Yeah. That is what qualified us to the finals.
I mean, I'm looking at the results from the semifinals and also from the group phase play against Egypt, and the differences in the pools that were in that tournament. Because if you're going to pick Sri Lanka in the semi after a 4-2 against Egypt and then pick 12-1, how would you classify that competition overall?
The competition was good, and we expected more challenge. We got the challenges because when we were playing Argentina, when we started the game, we didn't know what to expect with them, and it just turned out that the Kenyan ladies were better than them. And as Obote is saying, the scorers kept scoring, and so it worked out for us, and we thank God for us. So when we got to we qualified for the quarters where we had to play Egypt. Egypt last World Cup, 6th World Cup, were they were the first runners up. They were position 2. So we knew that was a tough game, and we knew they had prepared for us. So them first scoring us fast, ilitushock kwanza. First of all, it was a shocker for us.
Lakini si mlikuwa mna slide.
Yeah, tuta slide lakini hata ukislide you expect kufungwa bado. So I just thank the ladies, even after the score, because first half ilisha 2-0, but immediately tulirudi second half. The ladies walikuwa charged. Tukarudisha tukakuwa 2-2, alafu tukaendelea mbele tukakuwa 4-2. I think kwa matches zote, hata finals, it was a hard, it was a tough match. So we qualified, we played, now semis Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, they are a team that hawananga haraka. You know, Kenyans, we are fast, on speed, but the Sri Lanka ladies, they are not in a hurry. They will take their time and then they will score you. That is how they qualified for the semis. So they will take their time and then they score you again and again. So tulikuwa tu na zile, we knew we got it, but then when you don't know your opponent very well, so it was a challenge, and walipata hiyo yetu moja, so there was a tie. It was haikuwa mbaya, but it was a challenge also. Then we qualified for the finals where we were to face where we faced India.
Okay.
Our arch enemy. Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about your arch enemies, India, and the final, and what you have seen, and the growth that India has done. And Joseph, you can also, include that. Let me come to you, Keith, and, getting selected to the team. The full men's team, by the way. Charles Wanjohi, Victor Mutua, Zia Griffins, Elegwa, Joseph Aluhala, he's right across, Gideon Mutemi, Joshua Nyango, Keith Kivuva, he is here, Moses Atenya, Hamilton Gishero, Chacha Watiko, Regan Odhiambo, and Crispin Bagete. So we've got 3 of those here. Keith, basically, getting selected into these 12 eventually and having to represent the country and getting ready for this and having to play, the group phase of this competition.
So for the selection, I'd say the selection was good. And fun fact, I got selected as the youngest player of this World Cup. And that ensures motivation to the upcoming generation. Playing at the group stage matches, for the men's team, we had a motion in mind. We told ourselves to treat each and every game as the finals so that it will be easier for us. And from the results, you can see we treated each game as the finals. At the group stage matches, we managed not to score less than 15 goals each game, which was awesome for us, and we enjoyed.
And let me come to you, Victor, and looking at what Lydia has said, adapting to that wooden surface, how was it for you? Because rough tarmac, occasional concrete, but here it is smooth, polished wood.
Okay, me as a goalkeeper it was challenging first. So when we got selected, according to the form of training, we hoped that we shall be given time to train indoor so that we may get adapted to that indoor. But to our shock, we didn't have it. But a competition is a competition, so we had to adapt. So when we get there, it was hard, but good players, as Kenyans we are, so we had to adapt fast. It was challenging, but finally we managed. The sliding, but the best part was that we had experienced players. Some of us had those indoor wheels that helped us to manage.
Yeah, just talk about, she mentioned about the wheels that you use outdoor and, the kind of damage that they go through. Indoor wheels, how different are they from outdoor wheels on skates?
Okay.
Are they thinner? Are they wide? Or how do you get, those little things?
According to the quality is what matters a lot. So they have that rubber quality that enables for braking. So that's the difference. the outdoor, they are hard. That because we train on hard tarmac. Yeah.
Okay. So Joseph, let me come to you and just take us through how you, as a skater, you adapt to these surfaces. We have, there's a whole range of indoor sports meant to be played on wood.
Yeah.
Basketball,
Yep.
volleyball, handball. I can go through a big list, but now we also have got roll ball.
Yes.
How well would you have somebody adapt and also make the right choices, especially when it comes to the wheels on skates?
Okay. So for roll ball, I think the most important thing, the fact that he's there in Kenya is that we don't have many indoor surfaces. Actually, what we depend on as roll ballers is the Kasarani Indoor Arena. And I think even before we went for this World Cup, we had a challenge because the arena was fully booked at that point. So we were told we couldn't access it. And even if we were to access it, you remember we hosted the first Junior Roll Ball World Cup last year here in Kenya at Kasarani. So we were told that when we hosted that World Cup, there's a way those skates were messing up the flow. Because you see now you can't control the types of skates that we use. And I think just to answer you, the types of skates... So
actually, the reason they were saying that was the surface had been put up for basketball, for the BAL, and so there are things they wouldn't allow.
Yeah, so they were saying if we were to use this outdoor skates on that surface, then we would mess up the surface. So I think they just avoided us using the indoor arena. So I think that's a big challenge that we need to address actually. That's in fact for our viewers, if there are people with indoor surfaces like the smooth cement, like the smooth wood, I think it would be good that they consider sports like roll ball just to be able to train in such surfaces, because that is usually a big misgiving when we go for championships out there. So we adapt to outdoor here by ensuring that the safety gears we use are adapted to outdoor. So you can tell there is a difference between the safety gear we use here in Kenya and what we use during the championships. When you are using an indoor surface, you just require the soft paddings like the ones for volleyball. For the knees, for the elbows, for the helmet, you can use soft material. Actually, other players prefer playing without the elbow pad because indoor, when you fall, you don't feel it. But now when you are playing outdoor here, we have to invest a lot in the outdoor safety gears. We have to get the tough materials for the knees, for the elbows, for the helmet. So there's usually that adaptation. So you have to keep on just investing. Actually, for us players, you have to keep buying. You have to have like 2 sets of skates, one for indoor, one for outdoor. You have to have like gears for indoor, for outdoor. So depending on the competition that we are having and depending on the surface we'll use, you adapt to it. But now, for how do we survive? How have we survived over the years? It is just a matter of skill, because for roll ball, it is simple. You have to know how to balance on skates. You have to know how to move very fast and be able to brake while on skates. So those are things that when you teach even the young people and people joining, they have to just know the basics. So all the coaches focus on the basics of roll ball. If you teach them the fundamentals, then they're able to adapt. But now, of course, you will also have those issues. Now when you're in competition and you are not used to that surface, you have to adapt while you're moving on with the competition. You'll be surprised, even with a person who skated over 10 years like me. I fell a lot this time because the surface was different. The skates I used actually were purchased when we were traveling. So just being there with new skates, it was really a challenge.
So wait, you bought the skates in Dubai?
We were given the skates like 2 days to travel.
And this is where, this is something specific.
Yes.
Just describe what when you see the indoor wheels and the outdoor wheels, how would I identify them?
So when you go
Moja ni karatasi, one is a coin or the other one is an Oreo?
So the unique identifiers for skates is the hardness. So you check there are different sizes and different hardness. So like for roll ball, because you've seen speed skating use wheels that are beyond 90 millimeters, 110 millimeters. So you go onwards. Those ones are suited for running because they can move long distances. They are quite big. For roll ball, you need wheels 80 millimeters, between 64 and 80 millimeters. Those ones are suited for roll ball because you want something that doesn't go too fast, but also is able to withstand the force. So when you're going for outdoor wheels, you check the hardness. So the hardness ranges between 84A and 90A. They're usually specified on the wheels. So
okay, wait. In English?
Yes.
For our viewers,
Yes.
80A, 90A.
Yes.
What does that A mean?
So the A means it is created specifically for that type of surface. So ukiangalia kama hiyo 90A, it is gravel. So it's usually specified. Gravel, you are told, asphalt, depending on the surface you're using. So the wheel specifies which surface you're using. So you have to buy the wheel depending on the surface. Then the indoor ones are very soft. They are light. The hardness, you'll still find it's 84A, but the type of rubber that is used is very light. So if you use them outdoor, you finish them in a day. But for indoor, they will last because they are created for that surface.
All right. Oh, thank you very much just, for describing that. And, they were just laughing when, trying to understand this because we'll come to have, that conversation because it's very important.
Yeah.
But Keith and Victor, just take us through the group phase all the way to the semis before you played India in the final.
Okay, the group stage were quite well. The first match was against Poland. And the pressure was, for me as a first timer, I had that.
Butterflies.
Yeah, I had that butterflies. But we managed to score at 18-0, maintain clean sheet. Yeah, those games were, as Keith said, we had agreed that every game we took it as a final game. So everyone was there, be serious, trying to implement what the coaches had coached us. So we managed quite well. Yeah, we had quite couples of games, and all of them we managed to score above 15 goals up to quarters. Yeah, the competition was quite well. We had quite experience. Yeah, so for me I can say like I had the experience playing against experienced players like Luhala in the team. Yeah, these are players that would coach you and tell you, no, we are supposed to do this. Yeah, so that's what's all about the group stage.
Actually, let me ask you something. Since you're the team goalkeeper, which was your first sport before getting into roll ball?
Okay, I can say I'm out-talented. So the first game that I tried was volleyball. That was in primary. And as I grew up to high school, so you can find out that these games are competitive. So in high school, that's the games that when you try them, you won't be given chance to be in that team, even if you are good at, yeah. So there are those qualities that they check. So in high school that I played volleyball again, but still I played handball.
No wonder. Thank you. Because the pace at which these people throw that ball when trying to score, only a handball goalkeeper would be brave enough to face it. You are the goalkeeper in handball.
Yeah.
You ulisema. Hiyo nimejua. That was just where I wanted you to get. So overall, that group phase before Keith gives more details onto it and the semi. Your experience at international level for the first time, after how many matches now are you fully settled? No butterflies.
Okay, for me, the pressure does not carry for long. I just adapt to the game. I just figure out and get adapted to the game. So that pressure, don't have that much pressure. So long as we are locked in, the team is doing well, we have no to worry. Yeah, so I just focus on the game.
So for the group stages, we played Poland, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, where we managed to score at least 18 goals each, if I'm not wrong. Then we proceeded to the quarterfinals, where we played Saudi Arabia. We also managed to score 10 plus goals, therefore heading to the semis, where we met a much harder game with Iran. So Iran are good players, and when we entered the court, Iran, when you were just seeing the players, you were, hey.
Okay, there's so much laughter on this side. So what is it about these Iranians? Hey, giants or what?
Yeah, Iranians are giants. You enter the court, you see 7-foot people, and you are like, hey, how are we going to manage? But hey, these people are dangerous. And Iran, they are used to, they are very experienced. The players that were there are very experienced. So entering this match, hey, we had to lock in like for real. This was not like the previous matches. The semis were very hard. During the first half, I think we were 3-3. That was a draw with Iran, where they were really making us sweat. We went on to the second half, where we managed to score 2 more goals. So the game became 5-3. But then the Iranians, with their strength and agility and whatever powers they were using, managed to...
Powers again, is that what?
I don't know. They managed to equalize, and the game was again 5-5. The game ended 5-5 at the second half, so there had to be an extra time. So we went for the extra time. We played. During the second half of the extra time, we managed to add another goal, which gave us even enough motivation to keep going. As the game was nearing the end, one of our players made a foul to an Iranian player, and our fouls are already 5. So after 5 fouls, that means they get a penalty for each foul. So the Iranians got a penalty. At this point, we are 6-5. So they need this goal so that you can go 6-6. Then we go to penalty shootouts. To the God we pray, he granted us our wish, and the Iranian penalty shooter missed the ball. So we got to proceed to the finals.
So ilipita kando. Okay.
Yeah, I saved.
You saved it. Si useme alisave. Wewe ni nini bado? Wait, what have we been told here? Balance, accuracy, teamwork.
Yes.
Sasa unakuja kuruka teamwork hapa. Uko na speed ya kuepa hiyo.
Yeah, our keeper managed to save it, and we went on to proceed to the finals. We were very happy that day. Yeah.
Well, very well. And so, why you laugh? Because there's something you saw. The two of you, na mtasema sahi.
That game, really gave us pressure as the fans. Because first of all, the Iranian goalkeeper, as he's saying, whatever powers they were using, that goalkeeper, they are hiding. Shot iko huko chini, ako nayo. Iko huko juu, ako nayo. Imepita halfway, because the ball has to cross fully. Imepita half, anatoa. Yani, and us who are cheering, ilifika point, we lost our voice. Now, instead of cheering, now we started praying now also to our God now, because it seemed, now this was now a spiritual kind of vote now. He actually started just praying. And like her, she was even crying. I think she should tell her part of the story.
Hey, no, if we have to continue that side of the story, because this is getting interesting. But Brenda, the final 3-2, you lost 2-3 against India. What's the growth that you've seen with the Indian side? Because they're now tied. You're now tied actually on all numbers with India.
Yeah.
3 World Cups apiece. I think 2 silvers apiece and a bronze apiece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, me, it's my first time playing at the international championships. Yeah.
Ndege hukuogopa?
Sikuogopa ndege. Yeah, so on the growth of India, I've been watching the game. Yeah, ever since I've watched almost all the World Cups, and Indians have really grown. Yeah, although Kenyans are very good, but India gave it their all. But again, I can say, all the game was started in India, and most referees in the World Cup champions come from India. So somehow we can say they are very good, but again they get the favor of the referees.
Simunafunga bao.
Tunafunga bao, lakini there's this thing of Kenyans, these referees they assume. Skia.
Kenyans, kila saa referee, kila saa ref.
Ni ukweli.
Ni ukweli, yeah. So Indians are good. That is the fact, but Kenyans are better.
Okay. Your take on that final? And don't mention the ref, please.
Wahome, there is no way we can mention a Kenyan final without mentioning the referees. And it is not just on this World Cup. Even in the World Cups that we have won, any match that we played that there was no Kenyan referee and another referee, we have lost. So previously what was happening, there was always an African or referee reffing our match and an Indian referee, all through. The other time we lost, which was in 2017, we had also 2 Indian referees reffing our matches. But now, away from the referees, the match was tough. The Indians were prepared. They were prepared. I can say they were better prepared than us. Yeah.
Okay.
So, walituchapa tu kidogo tu hiyo readiness, lakini next time.
Afadhali useme hivyo readiness.
Yes, right? Readiness.
Joseph, 10-11, the loss against India, it was a 1-point game, but briefly, your full take on that final, lessons learned.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm happy that the squad was very different from the one we had in 2023 when we won. We had very many new players and they were up to the task. Actually, I think even the final was easier for us because we were leading, I think 8-4 at halftime. So we've never had an easier game like that before, meaning we've grown as a team. I think we just lost our cool a bit in the second half, and it's a game that is very tight. I always tell the players, until the final whistle, we cannot tell the winner. And that's what happened to us. I think they recovered the last 5 minutes, then we lost by 1 goal. But for me, even after the championship around the arena there, you could feel that people felt that Kenya are the champions, because Kenya, we put in a lot of work. Even though we face so many challenges, you can see the spirit in Kenya. They are so ready for the war. They are ready. We go there and everyone is a fan of Kenya because of the way they see we work so hard to be at that stage, and the way they see we are passionate about the game in the field. Okay. And I think that passion, even here at home, it is there. You will see it. The way we play the league here, it's very competitive, more than out there.
All right. Thank you very much. That is Joseph Alukhala. He has been to 7 Roll Ball World Cups. Has anyone who has been to 7? Anywhere else in the world?
No.
Yeah, 7 World Cups. He's a veteran of the game officially, and we've got the captain of the women's team, Lydia Wangoi. We have got Keith Kivuva here, goalkeeper, men's team, Victor Mutua, and also we have got Brenda Obote, all won silver medals. Where's Simunyashane Mabling? What? Yes, World Cup silver medals. So this is a sport that Kenya has dominated, Asanteni. And we want to see 2027 gold. Thank you.
Nothing less.
Nothing less. Bring the gold and don't blame the ref. So anyway, it's been a pleasure hosting our silver medalist from the 7th Roll Ball World Cup, and also being with Tira Soyaki speaking about the AFCON. Our sign language interpreter has been Susan Tuku. Coming up next is, my name is Daniel Wahome. Have a good day.
wakita gundu, wakita wengine watasema ni
Mbona unatoa bandage?
Madhiano unanikanta hadi the next minute.
The two of you get out.
Tupitie kesho usi. Unajua nafaa niende nishughulikie mokoro wangu.
Wapi failure number 1?
Amesema hataki.
Malipo ni mazuri.
Mbona unakaa uko deep in thoughts?
Ni historia ya dadi na nipatia stress.
Imekuwa too late.
Twende, you are a man.
Ulifikiria juu ya ofa yangu?
Mimi sioni nikipiga hii mboka.
Mali hii imetoka kuna nyingi sana.
Kama
wananita gundu, wakita.
Unajua the first rule of hospitality?
Wakati mwingine vizuri kuangalia.
Wacha kuita mimi kama
wacha kunigonga kala nguvu bwana, unaniumiza. Kemba unanifurudia nini?
Peleka kisirani yako huko. Wewe, ni nani unazugumanisha hivyo?
Tuungane na mimi bwana. Ati? Si nilikoteza hii mchezo ya watoto waacha bwana.
Tusikosane na vitu ndogo ndogo tafadhali. Waenga wanasema.
Na waenga walituandia namba ya simu. Ani tafadhali yake kwa nini umenivuta kazi?
Jamani.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.